Hello, everybody. How are we doing today? I want to thank you all for being here for our second annual Overdose Awareness Day in Whitensville, Massachusetts. This is our second one. Last year was our first, and great turnout. I know we are all here today to honor the ones we've lost, and I say honor because they mean the world to us. I know NOWA is a huge part of this community today in Whitensville, and they've given the opportunity to open the doors to families, loved ones, allies, people who support the recovery lifestyle, and it allows the individuals to come in and really be together, and again to connect in recovery. And because our families who lose their loved ones need to recover as well. So I'm gonna get this rocking and rolling. Over at NOWA, due to all the losses we've had in our community, and it's a lot, and it hasn't stopped, and unfortunately it's picked back up with the COVID-19, and so family members, mothers who've lost loved ones have took the opportunity and started a parent grief group. And I'm gonna allow Gail to share a little bit on parent grief group, Journey to Hope, and go for it, Gail. It's all yours.
Hi, my name is Gail Langley, and 2 years ago, my husband Ken and I lost our son Matt to an overdose of cocaine and fentanyl. It seems like yesterday, and I remember every moment of that terrible day. And the day I feared would come came, though I prayed and prayed it never would. Last year, I heard of a vigil being held by NOWA, and Ken and I attended at the very last minute. That vigil, like tonight, was a wonderful, loving community acknowledgement of those we loved, cherished, and lost, and a reminder that this disease, which should be considered without stigma, has no discrimination. It doesn't care who you are or where you came from. As parents grieving the loss of a child to substance use, we felt lost. There was no way to connect with other parents who had experienced this same kind of loss. It's different. It's unique. That night, I met Robin, who had lost her daughter, Amanda. Robin understood my pain and my sorrow, my guilt at not being able to save my man, no matter how hard I tried. Robin and I both believed we were destined to meet, and from this meeting, with the help of NOWA, we formed a parent grief group, specifically for parents who have lost a child to substance use disease. We are called Journey to Hope, Hope being Amanda's middle name, and we meet Monday evening from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Right now, due to COVID, we are meeting virtually through Skype, soon to switch to Zoom, and eventually we will resume meeting at the NOWA Center here in Whitensville. These meetings have brought us some peace as we all share the effects of substance use disease on our children, on ourselves, our families, and almost all of our relationships. Sometimes, for many of us, this has gone on for years. We share and we support, we check on each other, we care, and we understand. We have lost a child, and there is nothing that can compare. If you are a parent, or a grandparent, or uncle, or aunt who has raised a child that you lost to substance use disease, please reach out. We're here for you. We understand. You can find our contact information through NOWA's Facebook page under Journey to Hope. Thank you.
Beautiful, Gail. Thank you so much. I know for me, being a man in recovery, when I sit back and I watch these families come in and how much they support me in our recovery community, it melts my heart, and I thank you guys for that. So we're gonna keep moving on. Again, this is our first time doing this virtually, so bear with us. There may be little hiccups here and there. So the next gentleman I'm gonna introduce is a friend of our communities, is a friend of a supporter and a friend of the recovery lifestyle. And I was just on another vigil and listening to a gentleman speak and thanking DA Joe Early for intervening in his life and giving him the opportunity to recover from the disease of addiction. So let's have Joseph D. Early Jr., District Attorney.
Hi, I'm District Attorney Joe Early Jr., and I'm honored to speak to you today as we observe International Overdose Awareness Day. As you look over my shoulder, you can see who's affected by this very complex disease of the brain. It's not junkies, it's not addicts, it's our sons, our daughters, our brothers and sisters, our nieces and nephews, grandmothers, grandfathers, fathers and mothers. Since 2001, groups around the world have been observing International Overdose Awareness Day. Yet this year it's very different because of the global pandemic. We have to do this remotely. And since we are doing it remotely, it's important to remember a few things. You're grieving differently now. You're grieving more alone, by yourself, but you have to remember that everyone is with you. Nothing in that regard has changed. And if we can remove the stigma of this horrible disease, we're going to open the doors to treatment. We're going to give hope to people who have substance use disorder. We're going to give hope to their families. And it's so important to remember, for example, that every young woman is some mother's daughter, and every young woman is some father's little girl, his baby little girl, and she always will be. So we're going to change the way we do business this year, but we're going to continue to work with all of our community partners. And as we observe International Overdose Awareness Day, we remember those that have gone before us, but we also remember those that we can help, the families that we need to help, and the fact that we are all in this together, and we will stay together in this fight. So thank you for the chance to speak to you today, and I appreciate it, and it is an honor to speak to you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe Early. Much appreciated. And again, a gentleman with a very big title, and it's amazing to sit back and watch this man support us and the families, especially. So our next speaker in this woman is coming from the Uxbridge Recovery Court in Harrington Hospital, and again another supporter of the recovery lifestyle, coming from a courthouse, a man in active drug use. I never wanted to see a courtroom. I never wanted to see a judge, and the way they do things today is much different. Again, it's recovery involved in the courthouse today. It's we can't arrest our way out of this. Ain't gonna happen. So Ann Ash, please share with us.
Hi, my name is Ann Ash, and I'm a clinician employed by Harrington Hospital, Outpatient Behavioral Health, Department of Recovery Services. I work with men and women struggling with substance use disorder, which I personally consider to be both challenging and extremely rewarding. Unfortunately, I have worked with many folks who have tragically succumbed to this disease. Not only does this devastating disease affect the person themselves, but it also affects all those whom he or she is in contact with. The loss of a loved one as a result of addiction is not only extraordinarily devastating, but can also cause an overwhelming sense of shame and guilt that is not often experienced when we lose a loved one from other diseases. This sense of shame attached to being the parent, sibling, spouse, or friend of an addict may prevent that loved one from receiving outside support. They may feel an overwhelming sense of shame that this was somehow their fault, that they may even be judged by others. The guilt that they may also experience could potentially prolong their grieving process. All too often, I hear from family members that they feel responsible. I hear things such as, I wish I'd have sectioned them. Why didn't I talk more with them about all of this? Why didn't I see all the signs? I should have stepped in sooner. It is so sad to see loved ones blame themselves for something that is absolutely not their fault. It is my sincere hope that through events such as this vigil, we will not only continue to provide education and support for loved ones, but also increase knowledge and awareness. Today has been named International Overdose Awareness Day. Perhaps after tonight's vigil, we can all work harder to expand our support of others and decrease the stigma attached to addiction. That we can look beyond the substance and see the beauty within each other. That alongside the addicted self lies the true self, the person we all know and love, that we know possesses a spectacular amount of potential, that is kind, trustworthy, caring, selfless, talented, smart, sincere, and loving. I will never get used to hearing the news that a patient of mine has lost their battle to addiction. I also feel a sense of blame. Did I work hard enough with them? Perhaps I should have pushed detox a bit more. If only I had called their probation officer sooner. This is the part of my job that I despise, that crushes me. Yet I have to keep going, and I believe also causes me to pour more into my clients, to maybe somehow pay it forward. We cannot give up hope. We need to work together to keep fighting this deadly disease. There is so much help and support available. I truly thank you, Rebecca, and all of NOWA for your efforts in developing events to raise awareness. One day at a time, let's keep fighting the fight.
Wow. Thank you, Ann. Much appreciated. I'm going to show you guys a little something here that we, the NOWA and the Whitensville recovery community got together and came out, planted flags, loaded up. We also got a banner right up there. People we've lost in memory of. And again, we are here at 9 Spring Street in Whitensville. We also want to give the opportunity, anyone who would love to come down and plant a flag. We also, the members and the family members came up with an idea of a bag of hope. And I'm going to show you a little bit on the bag of hope right here. So we got our NOWA bags. And inside is, we got our flag, not the coffee. The coffee does not come with it. We got a flag there. Our NOWA brochures to pass on for support. We also sent out our agenda so we can keep track. And I'm going to say, this is for me, the most important thing in this bag, and can give somebody another chance at life. Narcan. And again, this has brought me back to life numerous times, and this has given me another chance at life. This has allowed me to be a father today and a husband and many, many other things. So if you have the opportunity to come down to 9 Spring Street, please do come grab a bag of hope. We also have our candle that we're going to be lighting tonight, in honor of the ones we've lost. Again, these individuals did not leave this earth without a message, and I can say that today that thank you for that message, because I got it. Much appreciated, and I can say that for a lot of this recovery community out here in Whitensville. So let's get going on our next speaker. This next gentleman I'm going to introduce. We over here at NOWA have the opportunity to work alongside this man in the Uxbridge Police Department and the Opioid Task Force. And I'm telling you, a lot of good things are happening around here with men and women in recovery, police departments, courthouses, and that's what we need. We need to bridge these gaps and show as much support as we can. Chief Montminy, want to share with us, please?
Hello, my name is Mark Montminy. I'm Chief of Police in Uxbridge. My story started about 7 years ago in Connecticut, where I met up with a young woman. A 22-year-old woman came to see me, and she asked me if she could talk to me about the opiate epidemic. And so I met with her, and she said to me, "What is the police department doing about the opiate epidemic?" And at the time, I said the same thing as every other police department. You know, we track down and arrest opiate users and sellers as quickly as we can. And she turned to me and she said, "How's that working out for you?" And I thought about it for a second and came to the realization that while law enforcement was screwing around trying to find a solution to this, people were dying at record numbers. If our goal is life safety, perhaps the police need to take a different tact. So me and this woman got together and hashed out some plans. And quite frankly, she was a person in recovery and she educated me. So
Sorry, Chief.
what ended up happening is we formed an organization called HOPE, Heroin and Opiate Prevention and Education. And together, we formulated a plan for people in recovery that kept them out of jail and got them assistance. And that program is now pretty much the standard for police departments across Connecticut. And so the whole process started for me with education. I had to learn the cycle of addiction, and I had to learn some of these other things that people who are in recovery go through that a person wouldn't naturally know about. So I want to thank you to everybody who has participated today. We have started a Blackstone Valley Opiate Task Force to try to get police departments involved in the recovery process. And I certainly don't know what it feels like to lose an individual due to this disease. But believe me, the tide is turning in law enforcement, and I think you've got a lot of supporters.
Thank you, Chief. Much appreciated. And again, it's phenomenal to be able to come into recovery and sit down at a table with a chief of police. And to me, that's powerful. That's very empowering to a man in recovery. So I want to thank you for that. So we're gonna keep going. We're gonna move on to some personal stories, and it can get emotional, and I know I can, and that's okay. And we are here to support, and we will bear with you and share your story just the way you want to. So we're gonna go back to Gail, and again, Gail and Ken have been unbelievable supports to the recovery community, and you're gonna hear her story. And I had the opportunity to meet her son, and didn't even know it until last year's Vigil, and we ran into each other. and we had stories to share together that we didn't know about. So this is the part of when I talk about that connection piece right there. Gail, take it away.
Hi. A little while ago, I told you about Journey to Hope, our parent grief group. And now I want to tell you a little bit about our son, Maddie. So kind, so loving, so sweet. Matt was a true gentle soul. What he liked most was helping people, especially those who were struggling with loss. Many friends who were tied up in the disease of substance use with him. He was always there for them, oftentimes helping others when he couldn't help himself. That was Matt. He was very inquisitive as a kid. He liked to take things apart. Every toy, every radio, any piece of electronics that he could find or that we had just bought for Christmas, he would take it apart and he would put it back together again to see how it worked, minus a few parts. He loved to work with his hands. Roofing, framing, concrete, masonry, you name it, he could do it. He even made his own drums, carving them from the trunks of the oak trees in our yard that he felled himself. His work ethic couldn't be bested. And speaking of drums, Matt was a great lover of congas, bongos, djembes. He could play drums, and that's all you would want to hear. All the rest of the music would be erased because he played them with his whole heart and soul, because they soothed his heart and soul. Maddie was everything a parent could want. He was kind and loving towards his parents, towards his family, his sisters, his nieces and nephew, and all of his friends will attest to that too, every single one. Even through the times when he was struggling the most, he was always reaching out to others or helping them, and he never lost hope. And I just want you to know these things about him because I want you to know that his addiction never defined who he was. Maddie loved God, and he knew that he loved God, and he knew that God loved him as well. He was firmly grounded in God, but he had a disease that eventually took him away from us. Knowing that he had this disease, we as parents and his family, we grieved for him long before we lost him. And now there's just this empty hole in our lives. We'll miss him forever. You don't get over this. You just try to get through it the best that you can. I hope that you all will remember this one thing, that addiction does not define anyone. It is simply a disease, or worsely a disease. It doesn't ever have a cure. You can be in recovery, but you will be in recovery forever. And we hope and pray for all of our young people out there that that's how this will go for them. And we hope and pray that as a country, we find a way to fight this terrible disease that took our children from us too young and too soon. I miss my boy, but I know he's safe and free from pain, and that is a blessing too. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Gail. God bless. So again, I'm gonna give it a quick on Maddie. I was out in Boston and getting involved in recovery, and this young man, I was never been in Boston my whole life, and then I'm living out there, and this young man approached me. He said, "Hey, you look like you're having a tough time on the subway. You need some help?" And I'm like, actually, matter of fact, I do. I don't have any clue where I'm going. And it just so happened to be Matt. And me and Matt connected out in Boston. And wow, what a gift, you know, what a gift. So our next speaker is going to share again on a personal story. And it's powerful to sit back and listen to these stories of the ones we've lost, because I can relate to it, you know, and I know a lot of us can. So Heather, please share with us.
Hi, my name's Heather. I'm here today regarding my son Wade. He was born on August 23rd of 1991, and he passed away from an overdose on May 21st of 1990. I'm very nervous if you can't tell. My son was very kind, loving, protective, and totally there for his family. His addiction did not in any way define what type of person he was or is. What I'm going to read for you is a prayer that my friend's mother gave me when my son passed away, that her friend gave her when her daughter passed away, because I always have the question of why. This is a prayer I always ask myself why my son, why did it happen, why I couldn't help him, why he couldn't help himself. And I still know that why I'm here, I'm not going to have the answers. So thinking about my higher power and maybe getting answers in time when I was given this, it really helped. It's called the weaving. My life is but a weaving between God and me. I may not choose the colors, he knows what they should be. For he can view the pattern upon the upper side, why I can only see it only on the underside. Sometimes he weave in sorrow, which seemeth strange to me, but I will trust his judgment and work on faithfully. 'Tis he who fills the shuttle, he knows what is best, so I shall weave in earnest and leave him with the rest. At last, when life is ended, with him I shall abide. Then I may view the pattern on the upper side. Then I shall know the reason why pain with joy entwined, the woven in the fabric of life that's God's design. So that really meant a lot to me, and knowing one day I may have the answers that I'm looking for is amazing to me, and it really helped. On another note, on the 23rd of this month, I was able to talk to the recipient that received my son's liver. He was able to save 3 people's lives with his heart, his liver, and his kidneys. And we are going to be meeting together on September 13th. So it's exciting and scary and hard at the same time. But I love the fact that even though he goes on in my heart and my life every day and my memories, that he was able and is going on for other people. And if you go on the memorial wall on the NOWA site, if you look up Wade Allen Thomas Sherby, you'll be able to see his memorial and his picture. He is greatly loved and missed. Thank you.
Beautiful, Heather, much appreciated. Thank you. Oh, again, just sitting back listening brings a lot of emotion, and again, that's another gift of recovery. I can feel today. This next lady I'm gonna have share with us is she's a woman in recovery and a close friend of mine and a huge supporter of mine. And I met this lady coming into recovery, and instantly hands went out, welcome. And this lady has no problem sitting down and listening, because when people need to share, I know for me, a lot of times I'm not looking for feedback. I just want these things to be listened. And this lady has done that for me and many others in this recovery community. I can definitely vouch for that. It's she also lost her brother, and she's going to share a little bit on that. She's also going to be able to share a little bit on the recovery, part of her life as well.
Hi, I'm Megan. I'm a alcoholic and addict in recovery. I'm here to speak to you guys about my experience, strength, and hope through my journey in the halls of AA and NA and just in recovery in general. I've been affected by this disease in every way. This is my brother, Matthew. He died when he was 27 years old from a heroin overdose. It'll be 8 years on November 3rd. And when he died, I picked up heroin. And I was in for the ride of my life because it brought me right to my knees. And so when I got back into recovery, I knew I needed to change my entire life. And, that's what I did. And, I was at UMass today and I asked the person how many flags were put on the lawn, and she told me 2015. But to me, it's only one, because it was only one life. It's only one life to everybody that matters. It's either their son or their daughter or their brother or their sister or their husband or wife or girlfriend, or doesn't matter. It's one, and we shouldn't even have one flag on that lawn. And I think that I've worked on the front lines of this whole COVID-19. I'm a recovery support navigator, and I think that, if anything, this has gotten worse. This pandemic has gotten worse, and it's made the epidemic of the opioids worse. And we need more support, and we need more people to come out and do things like this. Like Maddie called me, and he's like, 5 minutes ago, he's like, do you want to speak? And I haven't spoken in so long, but I have to remember how important it is for me to give back freely because, of him, because there's so many Matts out there that have died, and so many, people's children, and it's just terrible. I work with 14-year-olds that come in because they're shooting heroin, and it just breaks my heart. But, I have to remember that I'm living proof that you can get better from this disease and you can, recover. I was at the depths of hell, thinking that my only solution was sticking a needle in my arm, and that's not the truth. I went back to school. I got my bachelor's degree. I've done so many wonderful things. Do hard times happen in recovery? All the time. And I don't do things perfectly, and I've made a ton of mistakes, but the only thing I've done right is I haven't picked up, because I haven't found it necessary to pick up a drug no matter what happens, because I don't want to die today, and I don't want my children to bury me, and I don't want my older brother to lose another sibling and my mother to lose another child. It's just too much tragedy, and I think that it doesn't have to happen. So I'm going to be in this fight until there are no flags on the lawn, and we can go back, or I don't even know if we were ever there, but we can be at a time where nobody is suffering from this disease, if that will happen. But I'll be fighting for that for forever. And with that, I'll close, and thank you, Maddie, for giving me 5 seconds notice to come down and speak.
Megan, you are the best. Thank you so much. I thought about Megan too, because I know Megan wanted to be a part of the Vigil last year, and didn't really get the opportunity. So again, thank you, Megan. This is going to be our opportunity to open up the floor. Anybody on Zoom that wants to share, we can share on it can be an open discussion on our loved ones we've lost, on anything that you feel that you want to share on, and for anybody. I'm gonna go on a couple of people that I want to share on that has moved on from this earth and has given me life. So today, as a man in recovery, I believe that God takes and God gives. And I can say that because I've lost a lot of great people in my life. My cousin Haley Miles, Edwin Padro, Macho, Tanya. I can go down the line and probably hit about 30, 40 people that have been in this community and in the Blackstone Valley and are no longer with us. And it hurts to say that, but this one gentleman that I want to talk about, and I just said his name, Macho, and because I grew up with this kid, and he was an empowering example to me as little kids, 7, 8 years old. This kid would speak up for others when they didn't have a voice for themselves, and this kid would stand up for other people who couldn't stand up for themselves, and it's brought me to the point where I'm at today. This gentleman, Macho, was very spiritual. He was, Gail was just talking about Matt being a man of faith, and Macho, same thing. This kid walked around with the Bible in his backpack, and it meant a lot to him, and it did. So this is what I do today is I don't allow these individuals to pass without their voices being heard. And I take on that role of Macho today, and I try to speak up for people, and I try to be a voice of recovery, because not everyone has the courage to do that. And I say that's okay. That's okay, because I'm here for you. So he was a big part of my life, and then, like I said, my cousin Haley, young girl, and with kids, and lost her life to active drug use. Another beautiful soul that left the planet, and again, I will not allow that beautiful young lady to pass without her voice being heard. And that's a big reason why I do what I do today, because I look at it as they sacrificed their life for me to have life, and for our recovery community to have life. And again, I thank you guys for that. I love you. I miss all of you. And my mom is sitting up there watching as well. And it took her, again, God takes, God gives. It took her to pass in my life for me to get my life together. So thank you, Mom. Anybody else? Floor's open.
Hey guys, sorry Matt, I wasn't ready for the Q&A earlier over here, but I'm Danielle. I volunteer down here at NOWA as like a recovery ally, mainly because I lost my sister coming up on 10 years to an overdose. And it was my baby sister, and it was definitely very, very hard for us as a family to kind of accept that and grow with it, and kind of grow past it. And you don't really grow past it. There's no getting over that. It's just learning to cope day by day. But I'm very grateful for NOWA and the message that they bring, and what their main message is to the community, because at that point, had something like this been around back when my sister was going through her trials and tribulations, maybe at that point things would be a little bit different. But I never thought that something like this would be possible. And the more that I spend time here with, the people and the activities and being involved with the community, it just makes my heart happy. It makes my heart happy to see others that are coming down, that are being involved. And at the end of the day, if one life can be changed, I guess that's where I find peace with all of it. Overdose is a hard thing, because as many people have said, like, people that are actively using it doesn't describe who those people are. And even though those people passed because of an overdose, their lives still live in all of us for so long. And that piece of hope that we hold on to, it's kind of trying to find a place to put it and redirect it so that things can be good, right? So at that point, like, I'm very, very grateful for NOWA and for the community down here for what they're doing here to help others. And I strongly encourage, like, you yourself, or if you know anyone, or things are coming around or people need help, like, reach out. People are here, people are great. It's a great environment. There's no judgment, it's always a helping hand, and people to lean on and listen to and talk to. And sometimes that's all you need at the end of the day. I know, darn it, ice cream man. Don't you know we're trying to produce over here? Anyway, I just want to chime in and say thank you, everyone, for being involved. And thank you, everyone, for being here, because at the end of the day, you never know whose life you're changing, who's listening to your story, who you are encouraging to keep going.
Danielle, thank you so much. Beautiful share. Again, another family member who is a phenomenal support over here at NOWA and really gets involved in the recovery community. Thank you again. Again, the floor is open. Don't be afraid to share and let those voices be heard.
My name is Marguerite. I am a woman in long-term recovery, and I just want to thank you guys for doing the great job that y'all doing. I also can identify with losing loved ones, and sad to say that I still have family members that are still active in, maybe not in the heroin piece, but with the alcohol. And even though I live the life of recovery, you know, they don't, you know, my siblings don't see the greatness that recovery has. But I just, you know, I'm here, you know, I do what I do in reference to helping others, because, you know, I'm a miracle. We all are miracles, you know, like this life, second to none, is the best thing that ever happened to me. Matt, I just lost my mom recently. And I think that's one of the main reasons that I didn't pick up when she passed. I was one of those users that I used to say, the day God takes my mom, I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna go with her. And that day came 4 days before Christmas. And by the grace of God and because of the beautiful people that I have in my life today, I didn't find it necessary to pick up. If anything, you know, I just keep doing what I'm doing to stay abstinent from a drug, to make her proud in heaven, you know, and just to be the voice for many of my friends that I have lost. Just last week, I think I lost like 6 or 7 people in my life, you know, good friends. I think one of the most painful ones was one of my friends named Kelly. We used to use together. She came in about the same time I came in 10 years ago. She relapsed twice during this time, and this time she didn't make it. And that really took a toll on me, you know, in my heart, my soul. And it's funny because Rebecca had sent me the link, you know, to come, you know, to Zoom in today, and I'm listening to you, and I heard the candle vigil, and I was like, you know what, I'm getting dressed, and to believe it or not, I'm heading out there right now. I want to be there. I want to be part of this. I want to light up a vigil for all the loved ones that I have lost, all my friends that are passed behind this addiction, behind this epidemic, behind this crazy opioid thing, you know, that's going on. I'm just grateful for places like NOWA. You know, I remember when I first started using back in the 80s, there was no help whatsoever. You know, I am grateful that I lived this long to get the chance to get the services that were needed for me to live this life of abstinence of drugs, you know. And with that, I want to thank you guys for doing such a great job, for, you know, for opening the center to everyone. You know, this is great. You know, it's just incredible how today so many voices are being heard behind this epidemic. You know, I just hope and pray that one day it will end. Thank you.
I know a lot of people have mentioned him, so I don't want to take it up, but I was Maddie's niece, Matt Jackson's niece, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about the lady the blonde lady that spoke earlier talked about that with losing people to overdose comes with this a horrible amount of guilt that you don't experience in any other way when other people pass away. And I wanted to talk a little bit about just survivor's guilt. I've been an alcoholic for a really long time, and my entire life, Matt used, to the point where it didn't bother me. It was normal. It was almost just like growing up, it was something that you knew in the back of your mind, but he was always fighting. He was always fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting. I've never seen anybody fight so hard to be clean or come in and out for as long as he did. But the other thing that would happen too is he'd be using and he'd do something stupid and you'd get mad at him. Or he'd be doing really, really, really good and I'd be doing really, really, really bad. And towards the end of his life, he started doing really, really good. And I started doing really, really good. And the hardest thing about him being gone, the hardest part about it is the guilt left over because I'm doing good. And I always thought we'd come to a place where we would both be doing good at the same time. And when I feel really, 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 really guilty and really, really bad that I couldn't go back and change anything, I just remember that he would be so happy that I was okay. And we have to remember, I think, that the people that pass away and with the guilt, they wouldn't want us to feel guilty and horrible all the time. They would want us to remember them and laugh. And I thank God for my family that we can sit down and laugh about how funny and wonderful and beautiful our loved one was. And so I'm sorry. And I miss Heather. I knew Wade and he was wonderful. I went to Tupper Park with him when I was little. I'm very sorry. But that's all I have to say is you can't feel horribly guilty all the time because they wouldn't want it.
Thank you, Julia. Again, I just real quick before we move on, I want to share with you guys again the opportunity to come up to the NOWA Recovery Center at 9 Spring Street in Whitensville. You can grab a bag of hope. We've got Narcan, the candle, the flag to plant, and our agenda and the NOWA brochure. We will be here till about 8 o'clock. Feel free to come down, grab a bag, plant your flag. You can write on it and get active in this event. And like I said, we'll be here till 8 o'clock, maybe a little after. Feel free to come down or give us a call. We can also save one for you too if you want to pick it up later on in the week. So we are going to move on. This next gentleman, Pastor Josh, he over at the Valley Chapel in Uxbridge. Once again, the faith-based community has been a phenomenal support of the recovery lifestyle and the recovery community, and way more than that. And I sit here, I'm very involved in Whitensville, and I sit back and I watch this Valley Chapel, Pastor Josh, just give and give and give and try to support people in any way they can. Pastor Josh is going to share a little prayer with us before we move on to the next segment. So take it away.
Thank you guys so much for inviting me to be a part of this vigil. I was here last year, and it's just so powerful to hear each of your stories and how you have found people to grieve with and encourage and walk with and be with over this past year. And the community that I have seen grown in just a year has been amazing, how it has expanded and how you guys have really made this a place where no one walks alone. And I just so appreciate being involved in this. Just a quick word of scripture from the New Testament, and it says, "May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. And that has been the theme tonight, the hope that we find. And I pray that you will find that hope in God, that you will know that He will never leave you, never forsake you, that He is always with you, and you can always find that hope and joy and peace in Him. So let me have a word of prayer for our community. And Father, thank you, God, for this time to gather at this vigil. Lord, thank you for this community, Lord, that has bonded together, Lord, that you have brought together, Lord, to be a support to one another through these difficult losses. God, thank you for the courage that each one had tonight to share their story of their hurt, of their loss, Lord, but also of the hope that they have found, Lord, and found in one another, Lord, that they have found in you. God, I just pray for NOWA, Lord, that as they continue to be here in the community, God, that this outreach will grow, that this center, Lord, will be a place where people can come who need help and who will feel no shame, Father, because they are so supportive, so caring, so loving, God. And so, Lord, I just ask a blessing upon this community, Lord, the center, God. Help us as we continue to fight this crisis, Lord. Thank you for all the government officials and police, Lord, and all hospital workers, Lord, who are banding together, Lord, to just fight this together, Father. So thank you again for this vigil, Lord, and thank you for the hope that you bring in our lives. In your name, amen. Thank you again for inviting me.
Thank you, Pastor Josh. Much appreciated. And thank you for all your support and the help you give our community. So this next gentleman, I mentioned briefly earlier, Ken, and this is Gail's husband, phenomenal musician. And he's stepped up, had the courage to write this song. And it is called The Bottom from Above. And he's going to share this with us. And then we can start doing the candle lighting. So Ken, take it away.
She sees the firelight flicker as she gazes out the window from her room. Is that the burning bush she spies, or flames rising up to usher in her doom? She's waiting for a mystic, not sure who's gonna call, and hoping for some answers to her questions, one and all. Down here in the valley, the sky above has formed a roof of tin. Her prayers bounce off of it, come rushing back to her again. As gold is tempered, surely she's a precious gem, but the sparkles all muted while she's in this darkened den. The sun beats down on her, her throat dries up, her skin begins to burn. They say the barren desert is the only place humility is learned. She's pulling on the reins, and the horses are running wild. Will she hand them back to you, rest in your arms like a trusting child? When she gets to the mountains, and feels the cool breeze blowing through her hair. She will sing and shout after all her sorrow and despair. Love can hold a mystery between the lover and the love, but it all comes clear once you've seen the bottom from above. Love can hold a mystery between the lover and the love, but it all comes clear once you see the bottom from above.
Thank you, Ken. Is there anything that you would like to say?
Yes, this song I think applies to both those in the throes of addiction as well as for those who are suffering from the loss of somebody from addiction. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, beautiful talent, talent. So we have lit the candles, and we can take this moment to again honor our loved ones and our friends, our families, and celebrate their lives. Guys, again, feel free to come down to 9 Spring Street, the NOWA Recovery Support Center, and share these flags, plant them in the ground. We'll be here for at least another half hour. And you can always call us too at 508-266-0210 and visit us at nowarsc.org. We also have our Facebook, NOWA RSC. And you can come in and join us here at the center. All are welcome. The more support, the better. I do want to give this this opportunity for a share from the director of the NOWA Recovery Center, Rebecca Zwicker, and again, a woman in long-term recovery, and another great support of ours, and just what we need in this community. So, Rebecca, take us away.
Thank you, Matt. Oops. And thank you, all of you, for supporting us and being here tonight with us, whether if it's in person and virtual. This is a much needed awareness event to let people know that recovery can happen and that there is support available. Unfortunately, many have lost their lives to addiction, and we want to be here to be able to support our allies as well as support anyone seeking recovery or that's in recovery. Like, recovery is possible. And, you know, there's way too many purple flags planted, way too many. I was just saying I'm at a loss of words out of how many that we've lost to substance use just within like the past few months with COVID. It's heartbreaking, you know, when you think of all these lives that are lost. So we are here, like Matt said, we have a website, we have a live recorded Narcan. We always have Narcan available. Give us a call, stop in, see us. We are here to support anyone. And as you can see, our community, we're very supported by our community leaders. And the last thing I'll say again, recovery is possible. And just know you are worth it.
Thank you, Rebecca. And again, thank you everybody who's got involved and anybody who didn't have the opportunity. We still feel your support. Thank you for the speakers. And as much as we wanted this to be 100% in person, it's just not times for that. But that doesn't matter. We're still here. We're still here for you. Come on down and get connected. Again, I'm going to say this. I'll end it with this. The opposite of addiction is not sobriety. It is connection. And again, thank you everybody for being here. Come down, grab a bag of hope. And we are also doing Narcan training the third Wednesday of every month at the NOWA Recovery Center. It is also on our website. So take a look. Narcan saves lives, and Narcan allows another chance at life. So God bless you all, and thank you. I will keep this rolling until about, again, I said 8 o'clock, so feel free to come down. Recovery is real.
Woo!
I will say too, anybody who's still on here, if listening to people share made you want to open up and share, you still have that opportunity.
Okay, I'm Peggy. I was supposed to speak at this event, and since my daughter passed away 3 months ago from an overdose, it was just a little too close. But after hearing everybody share, I felt the need to share. Her name was Kelly, and she had 3 children. They're all here right now. We're having a bonfire for her. So the 6-year-old, the 13-year-old, the 17-year-old, they're all here. It's painful, and this is why I didn't want to do this.
All right, Peggy, keep it going.
I have 34 years of recovery myself, and I remember, I think the first thing I thought of was, oh my God, why couldn't I do this for her when I've helped myself and so many others? And I think that's what a lot of us feels, and that's what I think is important to share, is that there's nothing we can do. There's absolutely nothing we can do. It's, when it's God's time. And I really think that he took her because she didn't have to suffer anymore. I miss her daily, and the kids, I have I guess for anybody just to be able to relate. It's just so hard on the kids, you know. I have the 6-year-old asking me if God's gonna send him another mommy. If the 13-year-old with anxiety attacks every single day, and the 17-year-old just can't breathe at night. It's harder because she overdosed in our house, and I had to do CPR till the ambulance came. And I think the guilt from that was like, why couldn't I save her? It was just last week that I got the results of the report of death, and you know, she was on the methadone clinic, and she had gotten almost a year of recovery, and she was supposed to be, you know, reuniting with the kids before I brought them back. I've had the kids, I've had custody of them for 8 years, and then the 6-year-old right from the hospital, and I had her staying with me and told her if she gets the year, then she could have the kids, but I need to see how she was going to be. Gabapentin is another thing I just wanted to talk about. You know, she was addicted to that before anything else. And when I got the report, it was Xanax, cocaine, and fentanyl. Her sister told me that she had gone and did too much Xanax, so she ended up going out and doing coke so that I wouldn't know. The feeling is that the coke was laced with the fentanyl, and that's why we couldn't get her back. So, you know, I just wanted to share because, you know, I'm in the parents group, and I just wanted to say, you know, to all you that spoke tonight, you did a fantastic job, and I'm glad the recovery center's there. Glad I have meetings, and yeah, and just, you know, if you're out there, just hang in there, you know, wait for the miracle to happen. And I love you all, and thank you.